right, so welcome to the weekly Monday Powerhouse Mentality training. I got my Topo Chico lime with mint. I'm gonna crack it open on the mic because it sounds so satisfying. Ooh, shit, that almost exploded in my face. Topo Chico, sponsor me. But, guys, on today's Powerhouse training, we have a pretty spicy topic that we're going to get into. It is the nutrition fitness week. Last week we focused on mindset. This week we're focusing on nutrition and fitness and recovery, the three pillars to health. And today's topic is one that I feel like a lot of people are going to be able to resonate with, or that might maybe make you think a little bit. So we're going to talk about a topic that might blow your mind a little bit, but I promise I'm going to explain everything so that you can fully understand what I mean with the statement that is the title of this video, which is eating too little can cause or lead to fat gain. So if you're an OG member of the group, or you've been following me for a really long time, or you're a client, then you've probably heard me talk about this kind of a concept many, many times before. But before I break down the science behind why eating too little can actually cause you to gain more fat, I want to focus on kind of where this came from. And one of the biggest things that I've learned over the last decade plus that I've been in the industry is that obesity, being overweight, is the smoke. And the fire, or the real problem, is not having enough muscle tissue. Now, muscle tissue is the organ of longevity, but it's also the key to sustainable fat loss. But the most important thing being the organ of longevity. Having more muscle has been shown to reduce your risk of all-cause mortality and decrease your risk of getting chronic illness, meaning you're going to live a higher quality of life the more muscle mass you have. So that's going to be the underlying theme of this, is that eating too little can lead to fat gain because of the muscle issue. So the first thing I want you guys to understand is just because the scale is going down doesn't necessarily mean that you're losing body fat. The process and the framework that you follow in order to get that scale to go down actually matters. So weight loss and fat loss are two very different things. Weight loss can mean that you're losing body fat, water, and muscle, while fat loss means that you're losing predominantly fat, maybe a little bit of muscle, maybe a little bit of water, maybe a little bit of inflammation, but majority body fat, which means that you're probably also gaining lean body mass or muscle tissue. So what I've seen happen to a lot of people is that they start their fitness journey and they go way too hard right out of the gate. They aggressively diet by lowering their calories to silly little numbers that even toddlers shouldn't eat. Then they ramp up their cardio and they live on the treadmill, or they live on the elliptical, or they get on the Stinger Master for 40 fucking minutes every day and they hold on to the sides and run their life away. And they wonder why they lose weight very quickly in the beginning, but then they stall out and then it's no longer sustainable. The scale goes down. They look a little smaller in the mirror, but then they get body fat tested and realize they actually have more body fat on them despite the scale going down, despite them looking a little bit smaller in the mirror. But how? How does that happen? What happens when you aggressively diet and you do an intense amount of cardio is that you lose muscle tissue. So the person in this situation has lost muscle. When you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down and eventually you will stall out or have to increase your activity and decrease the amount of food that you're eating. But when all of those things are already at extreme lows or extreme highs when it comes to the cardio, it's kind of hard to go anywhere and actually be able to sustain it. So that's why I always will preach protein intake, resistance training, and properly fueling your body so that you can build muscle, which will increase your metabolism, cause you to burn more calories at rest, and ultimately lead to you losing body fat and being able to sustain those results. The amount of people that I've worked with over my career that would come to me eating very little, doing tons of cardio, and being at a plateau or super frustrated with their progress, Then I add food, add protein, take away cardio, add weight training to only have them get leaner and actually reach their goals, but also sustain their results. Blew so many minds, all right? I love to blow people's minds. It's one of my favorite pastimes. So let's talk about why this happens, all right? Number one, you lose muscle, all right? And I kind of already touched on this one briefly, but let's talk about it a little more. Muscle is the only tissue in your body that is actively burning calories. So when you have more muscle, you burn more calories at rest, which will put your body in a better state to burn body fat. That's what we want, right? We want to teach our body how to burn more calories at rest so that you don't always have to chase the calorie burn. But when you aren't feeding your body enough to actually build muscle, specifically protein, you can't build muscle from nothing. You will not build muscle from nothing, but you will break it down. Your body's either in a state of muscle breakdown or a state of muscle building. When you lose muscle, your metabolism will slow down. You will burn less calories at rest, and it will become more difficult for you to burn fat and easier for you to store fat, and that's not what we want. This would be like construction workers showing up to a job site with a blueprint on how to build the structure, but no wood or bricks to actually build it. Right? That sounds silly. You can't really build a house. So one of the strongest signals that you can send to your body to slow your metabolism down is to eat super low calorie. We need to fuel our muscles building that process. So we have to fuel the muscle building process. And this rolls right into number 2. But before I get into number 2, I'm going to take a sip. So number 2. You slow down your metabolism. Now, the metabolism is a very complex thing, all right? So your metabolism isn't broken, all right? But this happens for a couple different reasons. Number 1, being exactly what I just spoke about through muscle loss. The second reason is that your metabolism begins to adapt to the low calories you're feeding it. It's just naturally what happens. It's completely normal. Your body's main purpose is to help you survive, thrive, and procreate. That's it. Your body does not care about how good you look on the beach or if you're getting your 6-pack abs. It does not give a shit. It cares about you surviving. So when our body is deprived of the proper amount of energy that we need to survive and keep all of our organs working properly, it's going to store energy in the form of body fat. It will also slow down your metabolism by tearing down muscle to conserve energy because, again, muscle is a very expensive tissue. It takes a lot of energy to maintain and build. So if your body's not getting enough energy, your body's going to prioritize the energy that it does have to survive. And it's going to decrease the amount of energy that your body burns, since your body doesn't know when it's going to receive the proper amount of fuel to function optimally. All right, again, it's survival of the fittest. Your body's an adaptation machine. And this is why it's so important to periodize your nutrition, right? You shouldn't always be in a calorie deficit, just like you shouldn't always be in a calorie surplus. If you're always cutting calories and you're always eating too little, your body will adapt to cause you to burn less calories. All right, number 3, and this is one that not a lot of people think about because it's something that happens naturally, but not necessarily something that you think about when it's happening. So when you're eating less calories, you have less energy, so you naturally move less. When you aren't giving your body enough energy, naturally you will move less throughout the day. Your NEAT, or your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is the amount of calories you burn just doing basic things like twitching, moving around, talking with your hands like I always do, that number will decrease. Think about the days where you feel great. How much more do you move around versus the days where you feel a little bit tired or didn't get a good night of sleep? You probably move a lot less without even thinking about it, and those things do add up. So if you're moving less throughout the day, you're going to burn less calories, plus it's going to make it really difficult to have a good workout if you're not properly fueled. A lot of people don't think about that. Food is fuel. Carbs are fuel. Number 4. You crash your hormones. You shift your hormones to store more body fat. Just how it goes. It's, again, just a natural thing that happens when our body is in a state of high stress because it's not receiving enough energy to function at an optimal level. So your hormones will start to shift, and this happens when your body's under stress. Eating too little is a stressor to the body. Hormones signal the body to do a lot of different things. One of those things being to build muscle and burn body fat. So if you eat too little for too long, your body wants to protect itself. Imagine when you're in a recession, all right? To preserve money and protect yourself, you conserve money or you put money away so that way you don't run out of money. Your body does this with fat, which is energy. So it shifts your hormones to fat storage, raises cortisol, raises insulin, lowers testosterone and other sex hormones, as well as thyroid hormones that actually control the metabolism. And this all leads to you holding on to inflammation, holding on to water, not functioning optimally. You can gain weight a lot of the times because you're eating more, because you have more cravings, because of all the hormones that are being messed up. And I've seen this objective data in myself. Like, I'm super open about this because it allows me to educate you guys and help people. I had a really bad eating disorder, like really bad, and I struggled with it on and off for 10 years. And my hormones still to this day, after being recovered for 6+ years, reflect it. My estrogen is as low as somebody who has post-menopause, and I haven't had a cycle in 12, 13 years. And those things are important for your health and longevity. So while my hormone levels have drastically increased since I was so sick, I still feel the effects. And you can't treat your body like garbage by depriving it of proper fuel and abusing it with tons of cardio and expect to feel good. Like, you get one body. Why are you going to abuse it just because you want to look a particular way? There are better ways to do that. And in fact, the right way to do it is exactly what I'm talking about. So if you want to learn more about hormones, then drop it in the comments down below and I'll host something. We'll get some information out to you guys to get more hormone information out to you. But number 5, you binge more. This is a fact. If you eat too little, you've been restricting yourself, and then you go off on a binge because of how restricted you feel, now you have the perfect storm for fat storage. Hormones are shifted towards fat storage from the stress of undereating. You have less muscle, your metabolism is slower, not a good combination, and now you're binge eating, and you're giving your body such a huge influx of calories that it's going to hold on to it. All right, so many studies actually have shown that extreme dieting can lead, when you go from long-term restriction to extreme binging, it actually causes your body to add more fat cells. So your body tries to adapt by increasing its ability to capture calories and energy for when the restriction happens again. Because again, our body is a very smart adaptation machine. And you see this happen in a lot of people who have done bodybuilding competitions. They go to extreme diets to get on stage, then eat a lot of crap post-show for weeks, or just a lot more than they were used to unless they do a proper reverse diet. And the next time they try to cut for a show, it actually becomes more difficult for them to lose body fat because of the increase in fat cells. So usually when we lose fat and gain fat, our fat cells shrink and grow. In this situation, from extreme dieting to extreme binging, you increase the number of fat cells you have in your body, making it more difficult for you to lose body fat in the future. So don't make things more difficult for you, all right? Now, the final one, number 6, you will have nutrient deficiencies, straight up. Now, I talk about the importance of micronutrients all the time. They are crucial for most functions in the body, including energy production and metabolism. If you have energy deficiencies, good luck losing body fat. It's just not going to happen as efficiently as it could. When you lack something that your body needs, then your body can't operate the way that it should. So it's going to take all of the little nutrients that you're getting and force it towards that and not really prioritizing body fat, losing body fat. So health is important. People think that like, oh, I can eat whatever the fuck I want as long as I hit my macros. While that is important, quantity is important, but an emphasis on quality is extremely important because if you're deprived of nutrients and you're sick and you're not feeling 100%, then good luck trying to lose body fat and sustain your results. Now, I hope that I've made the case for you guys how eating too little can cause you to gain fat. You have to fuel your body. the right types of foods in the right amounts. And that's why I thought that this was a really important topic to cover today. Now, if you guys have any questions, drop them down below. Shoot me an email. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. You know I'm always here to help. But outside of that, guys, go out and do one thing that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.